Welcome back. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the issues that have been highlighted in that report about southern Kaduna. Markway?
Well, I do not know if it's directly related to that report, Chamberlain, but I do have here with me Mr. Francis Damina, who is a student of religion and society and also politics. And he's been doing some extensive research in the happenings in southern Kaduna. You're welcome to Sunrise Daily.
Thank you so much. It's nice to be here.
Yeah, so, well, let's quickly get to this now. What do you think? I mean, from what you have seen, from your assessment and your reading of what is happening in southern Kaduna, what do you think are the main issues there?
I think what is happening is a cumulative of years of injustice, neglect, and abandonment by the northern elite riding on the hobby horse of religion, especially on the minority groups in northern Nigeria who are believed to be worshipping the wrong God.
So are the minority groups fighting back?
Not really. They are not fighting back. Clearly, what is this thing has lingered to this time largely because of our government's lack of sophistication, the inability of government to punish criminals as criminals, whether they are Muslims, whether they are Christians or whatever name or religion they answer to. So it's a breakdown of the rule of law.
So you agree with the governor who says that that's part of the reasons why this has lingered on for so long, that he believes is a lack of punishment. Do you think that instilling punishment now, or ensuring that punishment is enforced, will solve some of these problems?
Not really. It's not about punishment. I said it's largely around the manipulation of religion in northern Nigeria. The problem is intertwined. You can say it's politics, you can say it's religion. But you know, in northern Nigeria, which is quite dominated by Muslims, they are allowed to practice their religion politically and their politics religiously. So there is no fine-line distinction between politics and religion in northern Nigeria. And as I have said, the northern elite over years have been riding on the hobby horse of religion, manipulating religion to achieve their political ends. Okay.
I know you've written extensively on it. I mean, looking at this article you wrote in the Nation newspapers, El Rufai and the Burden of Religion, when you're focusing on the religious law that was being promulgated in Kaduna as at that time, what were you thinking, or what was your thinking about? Do you think that they had the capacity to be able to, you know, streamline some of these activities, some of these religious activities?
It was a welcome development, as you saw in the article, but my problem with the governor, and I have met him personally on so many occasions, he has invited me and I went to meet him, and he has read some of the things I have written in some of the national dailies and so on. I think he needs to carry people along. This is democracy. As I said in that article, really, Rufai and the burden of religion. This is democracy, and the essence of democracy is participation. And when you talk of democracy, you talk of certain values such as cooperation, co-option, collaboration, compromise, and so on. But unfortunately, the bill came from him and not from the people. This is democracy, and things like that should come from the people. Do
you think that the bill would have come from the people?
Yes, it should, because some of us are frustrated as students of religion. We are frustrated because it seems, if you look at the first generation of African writers, you might say there are people like Chino Achebe, people like Professor Wole Soyinka, Ngugi wa Thiong'o, and others. You might say they are against religion, but they are not actually against religion. They are against how religion is being practiced. And if you look at it critically in Nigeria, you could see that you have all reasons to believe that there is the bastardization of religion, especially by the political class.
So you think that is what is at the heart of this, the bastardization of religion?
Yes, the bastardization of religion, the manipulation of religion. These things have been said by Usman, Dr. Usman, the ABU done sometime, Bala Usman, sometime ago, the manipulation of religion. And I think this thing has lingered largely because, you know, people are making their keys, they are making capital out of what is happening now. So I think generally, the handlers of the Islamic religion in northern Nigeria have to work hard they have to sit down and then look internally into how their religion has been kidnapped by charlatans. This is because today in northern Nigeria, the governor, to an extent, I pity him, I sympathize with him, because he's operating in an environment of suspicion. Because in northern Nigeria, there has been a suspicion between Christians and Muslims, largely because of the domination of Islam. Not Islam per se, but politicians in northern Nigeria have hijacked the religion of Islam. They have taken it to the cleaners, they have given it a bad name, and so on, using it to achieve their political ends. So I think the crisis has lingered in southern Kaduna largely because of this, and I think it will be nice to sit down and then see as religious leaders and then see what we can do about it, because nowadays we are beginning to talk about what is called northern Islam as opposed to Islam as practiced by, say, the Yoruba people. In northern Nigeria, it seems we have a different brand of Islam that is different from Islam as practiced in other climes. For instance, the Yorubas are Muslims, but you hardly hear the issue of the Almajiris and so on and so forth. So there is a mixture of culture, feudalism, and quite a number of factors as we see in northern Nigeria. So if we are to be on top of the situation, I think there is the need for us as religious leaders, as students of religion, to sit down and look into some of these issues.
Okay. Now, you said that religious leaders must sit down and look at some of the issues. Yes. And it would seem that it will be religious leaders on both sides of the divide.
Yes, that is true.
What role do you see for Christian religious leaders?
Yes, the Christian religious leaders in northern Nigeria constitute the minority, so I don't think to a large extent they have a say. But I think this thing is that the way out is, whenever somebody commits a crime, let him be treated as a criminal. We have the Constitution. The Constitution supersedes any other engagement in this country. And these things have continued largely because government has not been on top of the situation. Government has not been treating criminals as criminals.